I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we're taking a closer look at Spider-Man Deadpool issue number 16, a continuation of the Till Death Do Us event. The Webhead and the Merc with the Mouth are on a cross-country road trip to try and find Dracula, the only person who can turn the tide of the monster apocalypse. What'll happen next? Let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Okay, so as we join the comic, Peter and Wade are way up in the sky on their way to Latvia to track down Dracula with the last scion of the Helsing clan. Needless to say, it's a pretty boring flight from New York to Eastern Europe, and there's not even an in-flight movie to keep people entertained. In fact, Deadpool is so desperate to leave, he just opens the door to the fuselage and hopes that everyone else can survive the fall because he knows he sure can. Now, that's the A story, there's no debating that, but this comic has a B story wherein we flash back to New York, you know, the place where stuff is actually happening, to see the Mercs with money continue fighting off Queen Sheikhla and her monster army to try and get the Sandman device. Honestly, I wasn't in love with the last Mercs for Money tie-in issue, and this stuff right here really does feel like filling. I mean, you know they're gonna fail. It's a Deadpool event. Deadpool has to save the day. Also, hey, art error alert. Morbius the Living Vampire looks completely different in this issue than he did in the last one. Oops. Now, using the Helsing Girl's special vampire dowsing rod, they managed to find a creepy house where an old lady lets them inside. There's a pretty funny exchange wherein she speaks. No one can understand exactly what she's saying, and Deadpool fires back by speaking Esperanto, of all things. It's pretty obviously a trap, but I mean, come on, I think the Amazing Spider-Man and Deadpool can overcome one old lady if need be. The big threat, though, comes not from this slave of Dracula, but instead from a booby-trapped toilet, which, wow, you know, these are words I never thought I would say out loud. I'm working right now. Can you believe I'm working right now? This leads to a pretty hilarious scene of Peter Parker Spider-Man hovering over a toilet while his spider sense goes nuts all around him. It would seem that after his last defeat, make that many last defeats at the hands of the Marvel superheroes, Dracula is a pale shadow of his former self, living in a basement, drinking heavily of whatever falls down his trapped toilet, and playing a video game that looks like Marvel vs. Capcom, but for legal reasons is totally not Marvel vs. Capcom. It's at this point you can pretty much see where the story's going from here. The last scion of the Helsing family was shown in the previous issue to be a big fan of MMORPGs. She plays the same game Dracula does. Dracula doesn't want to help the heroes, so she challenges him to a one-on-one game. If she wins, he has to help. She could use her super leveled up Deadpool character that she's been playing for years, but instead, she just doesn't want to win. She wants to totally pwn this undead noob by beating him with a level 1 Spider-Man. And she does. Well, Deadpool and Spider-Man give their own commentary over the game. Man, these two would make excellent Let's Players, don't you agree? And as the comic winds down, Dracula suits up, promises to raise his vampire army once again, and challenge Sheikhla the succubus back in New York. Well, that was Deadpool Spider-Man number 16, and it had its moments, but overall I can't help but feel if this Till Death Do Us storyline is really starting to pad itself out, like maybe it should only have been 3 issues. Not saying it's bad or anything, like I said, there was a couple entertaining gags here and there, but not really enough to fill a whole 22 pages. The weakest stuff by far has to be the Mercs for Money, because you know they have to fail for the story to continue, which is always a little disappointing. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. So there you go, everybody, another Deadpool book on the books. As always, if you enjoyed this video and want to check out more from the Till Death Do Us storyline, I've made up a handy dandy little playlist for you. And as always, if you want to keep up to date on when the next Deadpool video from me is coming out, well, there's no better way to do that than to head down to the description of this very video you're watching right now and check me out on one of my many social media streams. I got Twitch, I got Twitter, I got Instagram, I got it all, man, and they're all great ways to stay up to date. And hey, if you like what I'm doing and are feeling in a charitable mood, then might I say there's no better way to support me in the channel than by becoming a patron. Patrons not only help me and the channel grow, but they also get exclusive content before anybody else. So until we meet again, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again in the next video. Bye-bye.